Hey, what's up? How you doing? I don't know about you, but I'm feeling rather productive right now. It could have something to do with all the Mountain Dew I've been drinking. I don't know. So I've had this idea for a while now. You kind of get what I'm going for, right? I have done collaborative videos in the past. You might remember the road trip video. It was a collaboration between me and the community, and I asked people to submit their shots for filming. This time is a little different. Basically, I want a video where we're going through a doorway, and every time the doorway opens, it's something new, something different, something that the community has made. Each room will be built by a community member showcasing their creativity or just saying, "Hello world," while cool music plays. And it would be timed with the beat and it would be evocative, etc., etc., etc. The idea to me is pretty solid. The problem I'm running into is that it's hard to implement by myself. So I need everybody's help. In order for this to work, there'd be 3 requirements. Number 1, it has to be accessible so that most anybody can participate. And I don't know if you noticed, but Final Fantasy XIV's housing system is, well, not accessible. And that's why I'm choosing apartments. They're just the right size, they can be fun to decorate, and pretty easy to film. And just about everyone can get one or has one already. I think you only need like 500,000 gil and a rank in your grand company or something like that. It's if you played the game, you probably have access to apartments. Anyway, number 2, it has to be consistent. So I want the distance traveled from the doorway to the next doorway to be the same throughout, so that it lines up with the beat, but also so that everybody has the same playing field. Nobody's making these long hallways while other people only have these short rooms, right? It's mostly to make it so that editing is easier and filming is easier, because if I'm asking the community for help, I'm going to have to film a lot of houses. So the simpler I can make this, the more consistent I can make this, the easier it is to get this done. So I did some research and I chose the Alpine doorway as the best candidate for this. And trust me, I tested all the doors, like all 4 of the different style doors. There's a difference in each of them, and it's actually infuriating. Number 3, setup must be simple and easy to understand, because obviously if it's complicated, nobody's going to want to do this. So based on all that, here's how you can set up and participate. First off, you need a stage panel, and it's got to be dyed cactuar green. Don't worry about dyeing it right away. You can dye it after it's placed. This will be our green screen, which I'll use for editing. With the grid placement enabled, place it on the far wall opposite the entry door between the 2 pillars. And make sure, with grid placement still enabled, that it's centered up and as close to the wall as it can get. Next step, while grid placement is still enabled, take your Alpine door, place it as close to the stage panel as possible, right where it turns orange. Then you're going to bring it 5 to 6 spaces out. You got to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, depending. What you're going for is the door should open without clipping into the stage panel. It can touch the stage panel, but it should not be clipping it much at all. I'm trying to avoid any clipping so that it doesn't mess with editing. Something like this. Also, make sure the door opens towards the wall, not towards you when you're facing it. And that's it. That's the setup. You can now start decorating the room, filling it however you want. I do have one major rule though for your decorations. Don't place anything in this corridor of space between the entry and the Alpine door. Anything that's going to obstruct the view or interrupt the camera's movement especially. When I record your creation, I'm going to use move to front door teleport so I can face an exact direction, basically facing forward. And then I'm going to scoot back all the way to the wall, hit record, and then I'm going to walk forwards until I hit the green screen behind the Alpine door. Any obstructions blocking my view could potentially get in the way of the editing process, and any bumps along the path can cause the camera to jolt out of position, and it's not fun to watch. That said, you can decorate around the corridor, but not inside of it. Let me show you some examples. This is okay. This is not. This is okay. This is not. This one is okay, but only because it's creating a smooth, consistent surface close to the floor for me to go through. Say I took these partitions and spaced them out and left some gaps in between, the camera gets pretty bumpy, and that's not okay. Does this all make sense? If you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments or on my Discord. This will be a collaborative project, so I plan on there being a back and forth with each of you on your individual creations. Speaking of questions though, I'm pretty sure a few of you already have some in line for me, so let me answer the ones I can think of as best I can. Question: can't we just use whatever size plot we want? Short answer, no. I would prefer that everyone have a level playing field and use apartments since they're the most accessible. But I am willing to make concessions in some cases. I did some research, and obviously larges will be too big to get exact distances inside of, so that's a no-go for larges. I did test the distance of smalls and mediums versus apartments, and I was kind of surprised with the results. It turns out a small's first floor is smaller than an apartment, so small plots are a no-go. You might be thinking, well, what about the basement? But there's no door in the basement for me to teleport to and center my camera view on, and I need the recording process to be simple. That said, mediums, surprisingly, are about the same width as apartments are long. So if you happen to have a medium plot and really want to use that, I might make a concession for it. You just gotta let me know and we can talk about it. Next question. Can we participate in the filming? Sure, absolutely. The only caveat to that is we'd have to set an appointment. So planning will definitely be involved, but I'd love to see some shots of people. Absolutely. Is there an overall theme that we should go for? Yes and no. We are essentially creating a collaborative art piece, so anything is fair game in my opinion. Make something you'd be proud of. Something that makes you laugh, makes you happy, gives an emotion. Anything. Make art. Make an interior that you like. Make a bar. Make a place. Make a scene. Write words. I don't care. The only common thread these rooms should have is the portal connecting to them. Can we use third-party tools? No. I mean, this should be obvious for anyone with a brain, but no. I mean, I can't stop you technically, but any housing enthusiast knows that there's glitches, and then there's glitches. And I won't go into details, but suffice to say it's fairly obvious to any housing enthusiast when someone has been using third-party tools, and that could potentially get me or yourself into trouble. My advice to you, be smart. Don't, because if I can tell that you have been, I'm going to remove your submission. Is there a deadline? I'm so glad you asked. You have between now and Dawn Trail Early Access, so late June, to submit your creations. Once Dawn Trail is here, I'm stopping everything. I don't know about you, but I'm playing Dawn Trail and I'm doing nothing else. And I'll stop accepting any more submissions and take 2 or so weeks to finish the game. Afterwards, I'll start filming sometime in July. So you've got a good 5 to 6 weeks to finalize everything. Oh, a couple more things before I go. Some tips. So the camera will be walking forward, never turning around, never looking around. Therefore, you can save slots and ignore decorating anything outside of this conal field of view. So don't worry about building anything on the entry wall or the corners behind you. Another tip, experiment with lighting. You don't have to have the lights all the way up to 5. Try setting them low and throwing some lamps around to see what happens. Each lamp gives off a different hue of light too. Experiment. Also, look for inspiration. If you can't think of anything, there's plenty of websites out there, htxiv.com and housingsnap.com. Great places to find cool ideas and building tips. You might also just explore your neighborhood and see what your neighbors are up to. Well, that's it. If you've watched this whole thing and you're still interested in participating, fill out the form in the description below. If you're not interested, but maybe you know someone who could be, show them this video. I appreciate it. Let's make a great work of art together. It'll be fun.